Holy One, you call us together to hear your word. Strengthen our hearts that we may follow your path. Amen.
Amen.
The usual suspects. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, campers. Anybody know who said that? Mick Jagger in Yankee Stadium. But we'll let that go. Last week, before I left, John Mayo showed me an old photograph which hangs in the treasurer's office. It was a large picture of Camp Neighborhood. Definitely a trip down memory lane for me. I said to those in the office that Camp Neighborhood was one of the things in my life that I felt most proud of. There are things in each of our lives we can feel proud of. And usually for me, it involves doing what we are good at, which, when combined with meeting some need of the world, increases the power of God's righteousness, God's right order. And that's a lot to do. A lot to do for a small camp in a small church. And we did it. The project, as some of you know, brought together children, youth, and adults from St. Luke's in East Knoxville with children, youth, and adults from Tennessee Valley Unitarian Church in West Knoxville. People from very diverse and unique backgrounds. And every person involved, I believe, grew in spirit and in wisdom. Friendships were formed, fears were healed, and memories were made. Camp Neighborhood. One thing I love about St. Luke's is that this is a congregation that stays on the right path. Whether with racial justice, by feeding the hungry, or spreading the good news of God's love for every human being. Story. A young Jewish couple were planning their wedding. They met with the rabbi to discuss the service. The bride-to-be said, "We've chosen the readings, Rabbi, but there's one that we love. We hope you will let us use, even though it's a Christian passage." The rabbi said, well, what is it? And she said, it starts, "The Lord is my shepherd." The rabbi laughed and said that would be fine, as it was actually from the Hebrew Bible, and that she might want to do some additional studies. The Lord is my shepherd. There are lots of Christians who believe it's a Christian. This is a different side of David this week than we saw last week. The 23rd Psalm is undoubtedly one of the most powerful writings ever composed, containing some incredibly nurturing images. The Lord is my shepherd. I can't think of a better psalm to describe the help we've needed this past year, nor a better one as we slowly re-enter a so-called new normal. There is nothing normal about our world today. Germany is underwater. Oregon is on fire. Many people are just struggling to survive. People are living in fear. I read some of the news this morning and almost started crying. It's just so bad. But perhaps there are some things holy and hopeful about our world today. And so I thought of my daughter's homemade chocolate brownies. A bright red rose blooming outside my window, hearing beautiful music. These things do remind us that life is good and that God is with us. And yet 3,000 years ago, the prophet Jeremiah called for a shepherd to guide the people. We still are calling and listening to our shepherd. We still need justice and righteousness in this world. We still need to follow our shepherd, even when days are long and nights are dangerous. The Lord is our shepherd and our righteousness. We must continue to live in the tension between resting in the green pastures beside the still waters and walking through the valley of the shadow of death. As much as I always want to say, keep on the sunny side, what I can say, like Julian of Norwich, is all shall be well. All shall be well. I met with a spiritual director many years ago, and she told me something which I hold on to this day. She said simply, just take the next step. Just take the next step.